Hi, here is a presentation about Unit 4 and what the expectations are around this assignment. So the prompt for Unit 4 is, many people demonstrate inner strength by overcoming adversity. What kind of physical, mental, or social challenges do people experience in their daily lives? Write a 5 to 7 paragraph, that should say page, research paper on one of these obstacles and provide information, evidence, and example on how it makes daily life more difficult, for the people who are experiencing it. So here are the overall steps, and then we're going to go through the actual steps of each of the parts that are due. So the first part is figure out what challenge you want to research. Write 8 to 10 sentences explaining why you chose this subject. What are you going to focus on specifically? Find 5 sources about your topic. Write 5 sentences explaining what you did to find your sources. Research the challenge you chose using the 5 sources. Write a works cited for each of your sources. Either show that you know how to correctly include a quote into your writing or how to correctly paraphrase. And then create an outline that shows the organization of your essay. You will want to have a thesis statement and topic sentences to guide your outline. So that's an overview of what's due. So now let's break it down and look at what each of the steps are that's due and what the expectations are. The first part is part 1. Explain your choice of topic for this project. What is the question you will be researching? How will you go about finding the information to answer this research question? Write at least 5 sentences. So you know that you've got to write 5 sentences, 5 full sentences. You want to make sure you include your topic. You want to explain what makes this topic interesting to you. You want to think about what you're going to need to do to find information. So I might want to research, let's see, what's a topic that I'm interested in right now? What is the best kind of dog to rescue? Or what type of breed is the best type of dog to adopt or rescue? And so I might start this part for this part 1, and I might explain that recently we've been fostering dogs a lot, and that I've been exposed to a bunch of different dogs, and I have 3 children who are 11, 13, and 16. And based upon those things and what our family's like, I want to know what the best dog is for our family. And so in order to find information to answer this research question, I am going to look on the web, and I'm going to look specifically at dog sites that talk about different kinds of breeds. I am going to contact the Humane Society. I am going to interview people who are in charge of rescues. I am going to find several different breeders, even though I might not be purchasing a dog, just to meet different varieties of dogs. And I might go interview breeders. I might take a poll or a survey in my neighborhood for people who own dogs. So those are kinds of the things I'll do to go about finding the information to answer my research question. But remember, the key piece to this is you're going to be researching it. So it can't be something where you are the sole source on it. So a lot of times people will choose a topic about an adversity that they face themselves, like a physical limitation or some kind of medical issue. And they are going to use themselves or their parents as their only sources of information. And you can't do that. You need to include other sources. I guess my dog essay wouldn't really fit the adversity piece, but you get my point. Okay, so part 2, how did you conduct your research? Explain in 5 sentences or more what specific methods you use to find information. So I went to the librarian and I asked the librarian. I specifically Google searched and put in whatever you use as your search criteria. You want to be as explicit as possible to explain how you went about to find your information. And you minimally have to have 5 sentences. You just can't have one person that you ask. So you need to explain. And if you are the person who has experienced this medical issue or this adversity, you can use what you know as a driving point, but you cannot be one of your own 5 sources. You're the reason you're interested in it, but you are not a source of the information. Does that make sense? All right, part 3. List 5 sources you will be using for this research paper. Provide all the details you can about each source. author, publisher, copyright date, web address, chapter, page number, page issue number, etc. Make sure you identify the kind of source you are using, such as database, periodical, newspaper, nonfiction book, website, etc. Include a sentence for each explaining why you are using this popular source. So a common mistake made with this step is people just provide me with websites. First and foremost, I need more than that. Also, when you're looking at websites, you want to look specifically at .gov, .org, .net, and .edu. The only .org that you should not use is Wikipedia, because Wikipedia is not seen as an academic source. What Wikipedia is very good for is to get an overall understanding about the topic and then scroll to the bottom of the page and look at what their sources are, because they're going to have used academic sources. But anybody can publish on Wikipedia. Your next door neighbor who's 6 can publish on Wikipedia, and until it's caught, it's up there as fact. So you want to use academic sources, but use Wikipedia as a good place to find where some good sources are. And we're going to go through right now, we're going to look at a website, and we're going to look at where you would find this information. So here's a website that I pulled up, and you'll know that I think I Googled anxiety and stress in middle school students, because that's a big topic that I've been researching lately. Okay, so when I look at this, you look at my website, which is at the top, and it's www.understood.org. So we know it's a good website because it's an organization. Understood is the organization. So I'm going to copy and paste my website, and that's going to be the website. Whoops, sorry. Then I'm going to look at who wrote this. And John Piacenti wrote it. And this is the title: My 6th grader is anxious about school. What can I do? And then I am looking at any other information that I can find from this part of the section. This is the very top part of the page that I want to pull for this. I can't find anything, so whoops, I go to the bottom of the page. So then I find out that understood.org is the organization. The copyright on this is 2014 through 2017, so I want to include that as well. And that should be pretty much all the information that you need to include. And then I'm going to include my one sentence about what it is about this website that's going to help me. So I might say something along the lines of, this website provided me a parent's perspective of what it's like to have a child who suffers from anxiety. So that's going to be what you include for that, okay? The next piece that is due is you need to copy and paste a short passage, 5 or more sentences from one of your sources. Below the original passage, paraphrase or summarize it and cite it appropriately. So, sorry. Yes, okay. And I did this backwards. So your paraphrasing is here. So the original passage, the original passage is, students frequently overuse direct quotation in taking notes. And as a result, they overuse quotations in the final research paper. Probably only about 10% of your final manuscript should appear as directly quoted matter. Therefore, you should strive to limit the amount of exact transcribing of source material while taking notes. And that's where the source came from James D. Lester in Writing Research Paper, 2nd edition, 1976, pages 46 and 47. So here's a way to paraphrase it. In research papers, students often quote excessively, failing to keep quoted material down to a desirable level. Since a problem usually originates during note-taking, it is essential to minimize the material recorded verbatim. And then it gives the author's last name and the page numbers. Here's another summary. Students should take just a few notes in direct quotation from sources to help minimize the amount of quoted material in research papers. What you need to understand when you are citing or quoting material is the ideas are what the person gets credit for. So if you take this direct quote, students frequently overuse direct quotation in taking notes, and you put in synonyms for some of the words, it is still plagiarized because that is his idea. And so you need to give credit where credit is due. For direct quotes, it's going to be something more like this. And then quotes is on the top. So quotation from one of your sources and cite it appropriately. Wordsworth stated that romantic poetry was marked by, quote, spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. And you'll see underneath there are 2 different ways. Romantic poetry is characterized by spontaneous overflow of powerful feelings. So you see that he puts in quotation marks, or that the person who wrote this puts in quotation marks, the words that they're taking directly from the source. And this is how you would cite it correctly. So you need to do this as step 4 of your Unit 4 project in order to show that you know how to either paraphrase or quote. And then step 5 is you are just going to write your outline or mind map for your topic. So your introduction, I want your thesis statements, I want your topic sentences, and I want to know how you're going to support them at any quotes you're going to use. In Unit 5, the assignment is to actually write the essay for this. However, I have eliminated that assignment because I think doing this step and doing it well is more important than rushing then to write the essay. So what I want to see is your organization. I want to see your thesis statements and your topic sentences. I want to see what kind of quotes you're using to support your positions and what details you're using to support your topic sentences. Okay? And then, as always, if you have any questions or things that you want to talk about or ideas that you want to go through that don't exactly align with this assignment but that you think would work, feel free to call, email, or text me.